As far as useless pieces of training equipment goes, there's a lot of them on the market. We're going to focus on a few of the main ones. Now, almost everyone runs out when they get a new dog and they buy this, a regular flat collar. They come in nylon or leather, and you can get them very fancy looking. People like to get one that matches their dog. But as far as training goes, there's no benefit to this. The only thing this is good for is hanging a dog tag off of. The unfortunate part about this is that because people think this is for training, they put this on the dog and they get the dog pulling them down the street, as dogs will do when they're not trained. And it's not that this is a comfortable, soft thing, because people shy away from collars that are corrective because they think, oh no, I want to have my dog learn in a happy, peaceful, comfortable environment. Well, this is actually detrimental to their throat. And you'll see that many dogs walk along and they're gagging and they're getting trachea damage by the force of the pressure constantly pulling against their throat as this is being dragged backwards. And people will try to jerk their dogs back with this as well, never getting a change in behavior, never getting a result. So the dog is getting jerked and constantly pulling. So this cannot be used as a training device. The second thing that you're going to run into problems with is if you've seen these things, they're called gentle leaders or halties. A lot of people have them at home. They like that term, gentle leader. They like that feeling of everything's going to be soft and wonderful. But unfortunately, again, it's the same idea that because there's no great consequence that causes the dog to stop pulling, the dogs are always straining against these things. Certainly, it might restrain the dog somewhat, but it ultimately does not change the core of the dog and who he is and how he thinks about you and your relationship. So I'll see a lot of dogs walking down the street with these gentle leaders on, and they're still dragging their owners along when they're under distraction mostly. And you'll also see, dogs still being aggressive and so forth with these on. Another thing that is of no real value is a harness. It goes around underneath the dog's chest and over the back. And again, people like these because they think it's a comfortable way to walk their dog around. But in most cases, when you see people with these on, their dogs are constantly pulling. And the whole idea with training is to get your dog, number one, never to pull again. And most of these devices are in no way going to help you with that process. Using my command collar, in 2 to 5 minutes, you can get the majority of dogs to stop pulling on a leash forever. And that's even under distraction. And that begins to move you to a place of off-leash control. Using these other devices that are all set up for comfort, you never get that change in behavior that's going to give you that control that you want to give your dog the freedom they deserve. Another type of device that people will use thinking it's a training type of collar is called a Martingale Collar. And it starts out with the design of a regular flat collar, and then they've added into it a piece of chain that opens and closes. And it looks as if it's a corrective type of device, and it even says on the labels that it's a training collar, but it is never going to give you a change in behavior because there's no consequence associated with it. What they've done is taken a pinch collar design, taken all the teeth out of it, and put a little corrective chain at the bottom, which actually doesn't correct because it never actually comes in contact with the dog. Another device that I discourage people from using if they own one is a retractable leash. Stick with the Freedom training lines. It will give you the ability to get your dog off-leash trained. A retractable leash is actually detrimental to the process. If you want to learn more about that, watch the section that I've put together on the retractable leash.